Tommy, and you were on the lifeboat. What's happening? So listen, people, boy, I caught a lot of crap yesterday. If you're just getting here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notification. Make sure you hit like and tell me where you're coming in from. Everybody digs that. Chicago is in the house. Hello, Christine. Good to have you here. Hello, Charlene. What's up, Heart? Yep, none of TZ, Nano or TZ got another random. Ashley G, I'm glad that you're here. Here's the deal on this, people. I got a lot of crap yesterday, and people would really like me to apologize for the neck beard thing. Look really carefully. Not going to happen. I'm not apologizing, and I'm not backing off either. What do you think of that? Here's the deal. I saw an interesting interview that I was going to say something nasty. I'm just not going to. That Sheriff Nanos did with Cuomo, the guy from News Nation. And Cuomo said to him, so I'm guessing that DNA is one of the reasons that you have been able to eliminate the family. What was his answer, Johnny Scoville? It was not yes. That would have been a good one, right? Yeah. DNA has got us to eliminate them as suspects. That didn't happen. Instead, what he got is he went, oh, no. I'm not going there. I'm not even going there. It's a simple answer, man. Say, yeah, DNA eliminated them. Nothing has eliminated them. Here's what it comes down to if you think about this logically. He has said over and over again that he is in constant contact with the family. I'm not busting on the family. I would imagine this must be a living hell, right? I can't imagine the hell. I don't know that any of us can imagine the hell that the Guthrie family is going through right now. I'll get a comment, Johnny Scoville, in the comment section, and someone's going to go, well, you're making the hell worse. Yeah, those 2,000 views are probably really going to screw up the Guthrie family. Here's the deal. The reason that the entire world doesn't feel comfortable about this, especially in the true crime community, is because we've all been doing this for a hot minute. And there is absolutely no coordination between the FBI and between the locals when it comes to what they are telling people. The FBI has not eliminated him as a suspect. They've been absolutely pretty clear about that, actually. Someone asked them very specifically, you know what they said? No one has been eliminated. I think Nancy may have said, hey, can you back off the family? I would imagine it's hard to hear everybody speculating that this is that this could be neckbeard. That's got to be a bummer. I'm sorry about this, man, right? If it's not the son-in-law, my apology will take 30 seconds, right? He's done everything within his power to make himself look guilty. In my humble opinion, that's what's going on. He could have come out and come out for 40 seconds and stand in front of the press and say, I'm doing everything they're asking me to do. I'm not responsible for this. I love my mother-in-law more than anything in the world. I will do anything that needs to happen. I deleted my social media because I didn't want all the hate that was coming in from it. The reason that I haven't been coming outside is because I don't want to take away from anything that's happening in the case. But no, none of that's happening. Do me a favor. Hey, there's my wife. What's happening, baby? Bunny Whisker is a little offsides. I'll take the bunny foot thing, but if someone starts calling me Bunny Whisker, I'm going to be a little upset with you. Arkansas, good to have you here. Don't apologize, says MJ. Well, you know what? I lost some subscribers, and some of them were blocked by my mods. I'm sure I'm going to get an email that says, can you unblock me? My mods walk on water, they eat bullets, and they pee ice cubes. If one of my mods blocks you, you got a better chance of crapping a 5-carat diamond stone than me unblocking you. They blocked you because you were saying something or doing something that was rude, and I stand behind them more than I stand behind anything else.
Pay attention. That's how you're supposed to treat your mods.
Yeah, pay attention. That is how you treat your mods. My mods don't make mistakes. If you think they do, you're on the wrong channel. They've been here a very long time. Ann from Arbor, good to see you. Am I feeling a little better? Lisa Palmer, truthfully, yeah, maybe a little bit. I've gotten an awful lot of sleep. I have been doing that because, honestly, there's not a whole lot going on, right? There just isn't. Long Island, Port Jeff, good to have you here. You know what? Everybody can get upset at this. The safe money right now is still on family. I'm sorry, it is. So we look at the family tree and we go, who is it? Now we're getting into the speculation. I will absolutely stipulate to the fact that I could be wrong. Absolutely. But I'm going to play the numbers until I am. If I'm wrong, Liverpool, good to have you here.
400 people.
400 people in here. Smack that like button, hit the bell for notification. Make sure that you hit that button that says thumb up because it pushes this out, and they don't want to push this out. Why? Because we're not going to toe that line. Man, I'm no freaking journalist. If you think I'm a journalist, man, go watch CNN and watch what they do. Then come back here and listen to me and tell me I'm a journalist. I'm not. I'm a guy that screwed up a lot. I spent way too much time doing things that were illegal, and I got a pretty good idea of how people that break the law do stuff. I say, look at Uber driver that picked her up. They did. They've looked at the Uber driver that picked her up. He gave DNA. He sat down, did an interview. Everybody that has been involved in this, hey, Kathy, all the people that have been involved in this tangentially, all of those people are already involved. I mean, they've already come and talked to them. By the way, there wasn't a glove inside the house. Remember me telling you this, right? There's no glove inside the house. DNA was found inside the house. And people want to believe that maybe that's blood. The guy didn't bleed. I promise you he didn't. If there's DNA inside the house, that can happen a million ways. I'll donate a testicle if I'm wrong. Won't be mine. That's how you donate a testicle if you're paying attention. That's how you want to do it. Thank you. Mop makes perfect sense. I wouldn't donate mine either. But pay attention, for real. If you start to look at this, how is the person's DNA going to get in the inside? Well, for the true crime people, they're going to go, duh, Tommy. But a lot of people are just joining this. He kept a flashlight in his mouth, right? How did he get the flashlight out of his mouth? You think he spit it in his top coat pocket? No. However, just because there's DNA in there doesn't mean it comes back to anybody that's in the crime. If you took our house here, we scrubbed this bad boy when we got in, up and down, scrubbed the floors. After we bought this, we scrubbed the crap out of it. If you find DNA in here, it's probably ours. Why? Because nobody comes in here. And I mean nobody comes in here. However, that's a house that has people go in it. They allegedly had hired people that went in every week to check on her. There were people that went in there to do pool cleaning. There were people that went in there to clean the house. She probably had healthcare professionals coming in. But they get a pool of all that DNA. That one DNA profile that they have doesn't come back to anybody. The story of this is becoming less about neckbeard, although I'm promise you, not because I'm backing off of this, right? I'm backing off a little bit, not on neckbeard, but on the story, because the story of this case is about Nanos. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. He absolutely wants to go and do interviews, and he's pissing off the FBI. Rank and file people are already talking about this. There are FBI agents that are already saying they need to coordinate with us. The FBI was asked today, kind of surreptitiously, but they came out with a statement today that talked about DNA. They talked about 50,000 people have already called in. 50,000 people have called in tips. And they said, we're chasing all of this down. And no one has been eliminated as a suspect. Did you catch that? No one has been eliminated as a suspect. However, Nanos is saying the family all has. Doesn't work that way. It's one or the other, right? Everyone is a suspect. Everyone is a suspect. It doesn't make any sense, and they didn't get together. What if it was one of the people outside? Teresa, they did find the DNA inside, because that's a legit question. There's so many people milling about outside. You got pizza guys coming to the front door. The pool people going to the back, that was kind of a bummer. It really was. But if this is going to be it, it's going to be somebody that is inside that house, right? Do me a favor, if you're just getting here, smack the like button, hit the bell for notification shortly after you hit subscribe. You'll thank me later. Also, I'm about 60 or 70 people away from getting that thing I want. If you head over there and hit subscribe at my wife's channel, I'm so close. And if you don't like my wife, well, that's even more of a reason to go hit subscribe. I'm kidding. No, but seriously, go over there and do it. Lisa Trimble says, best mods ever. And truthfully, they are. This isn't going to go away for the family until they either can exonerate themselves, right? And in my gut, they haven't. So Nanos' reason for saying that the family has been exonerated, well, they gave up their cell phones and their computers. Did they take a polygraph test? Huh? Well, if they did, you sure as hell would have announced it. Why didn't they? I'm telling you people, SOP, you familiar with those initials? Standard operating procedure. If the feds were handling this case and Nanos, the jackwagon, wasn't running this, the first thing they would have done is got the whole family in a room and they would have looked at Savannah. I promise you. For two reasons. Number one, because she's probably the leader of the family. And number two, the sibling family. And number two, she's most likely to have nothing to do with this. So they say, listen, we'd like to eliminate all of you, right? By making sure we get out here and take a polygraph test so that we don't waste 2 weeks chasing you down. They may have wasted 2 weeks chasing them down. If neckbeard isn't it, and I've stipulated this from Jump Street, maybe he isn't. I'm just playing the numbers, folks. And right now, he's the best bet. But if he took a polygraph test to prove that it was not him, we'd be having a very different conversation. Somebody left a comment and said, if he took a polygraph test and passed it, you still would think it was him. No, I wouldn't. You have no idea what you're talking about. If this guy took a polygraph test and he had every one of the control questions came up with him being honest, I'm not going to be pushing this guy. If those questions would have been, do you know who did it? Do you know where she is now? Do you know whether she's alive or not? Those are the kind of questions. If he passed on every one of those, I would not be pushing this dude. I promise you I wouldn't. So let's take some polygraph tests. But here we are past week 2, and they're still eliminating family. If the guy was being honest and they just eliminated them a day ago, do you know what that means, Johnny Scoville? It means that they pissed 2 weeks looking at the wrong suspect. Why? Because that suspect didn't say on day 1, what do you want me to do to eliminate myself? Go in my house, have my phone, have my computer, let me take a polygraph test. What can I do to eliminate me as a suspect?
One of the Sims said, hey, stop acting like you're guilty. You're taking the attention off the guy who might have done this.
I don't know, man. Johnny says, if one of the siblings were to say to him, you're taking the eyes off of the people. Maybe we could do something that makes you look a little bit less guilty. Look at all of the speculation, man. Right? Look at all of the speculation from people that are saying, he's in Italy. He's in Florida, right? These are all being generated because there's no communication, right? Between all of us that are following this case and the people that are talking about it. And I'm going to get comments. Don't trip. I'm not going to read them. But I'm going to get comments from people that are going to go, it's not their job to communicate with the public. If the next thing out of your mouth is, we want you to call us every time you think something's going on, yeah, it's your responsibility to say, don't waste our time telling us that you think it was this person, or this person, because we've eliminated them, right? We want to make sure that this in some way gets streamlined, but it's not getting streamlined because they are handling this so poorly, it's incredible. Everybody said, what difference does it make if they use their own lab? Well, 4 days, the way I look at it, right? Minimum 4 days. 4 days when your mother is missing is an eternity. And then let's talk about Harvey Levin. The fact that they've got to dedicate agents to that jackwagon and everything that he's doing to self-promote is also an issue. Maybe Harvey's really getting all of these things, right? I'm behind on my videos. What's happened? Well, you don't get to know that for being behind on my videos. You should be ashamed of yourself. What's happening is this. No DNA in CODIS. There was a DNA sample taken inside the house. Do we know if it was contact DNA? Do we know it was from something being dropped? No, because Nanos acts as if this is a security issue. You're going to tell us the DNA is in there? Who gives a crap if you could say contact? That doesn't tell us a whole lot, right? But the DNA that was in the house isn't in the CODIS system. That alone makes me really wonder, right? This isn't the kind of crime that's usually done by somebody that has never had a DWI. The person who goes, no, I've never done anything wrong, but I'll be your guy. You want me to go in and snatch her? I'll do that. That's not how it works. I'm not trying to give any credit to people that break the law. They're all stupid. I was one of them, right? I am not in any way, shape, or form saying that criminals are intelligent. So don't get it messed up and leave ugly comments. But what I'm saying is this, that criminals work their way up the chain, right? They really do. And it takes a certain level of comfort as a criminal to walk into a house that you do not know. That is a very uncomfortable thing to do. I can't imagine trying to describe how bad it is. I like the sheriff violated federal law, sending it to Florida instead of the state. Here's the deal. I don't honestly know the law, whether or not that's federal or not. I don't. But what I can tell you is this. Now they're using a local lab, which I find odd. And why are they using a local lab? So that they can cut out the middleman and try to get it into the local CODIS system faster. Why didn't you do that? Try to get it into the federal CODIS system. Because you don't want to give the FBI any kind of credit at all. I sent some pictures to your Instagram. Interesting. I will look at those, Smudge Girl. Thank you. See, somebody can find out how to get a hold. I'm very hard to get a hold of. I will admit that. But thank you. I appreciate that. I am hard to get a hold of by design, with all due respect. Can Nano somehow be impeached and removed? He can be removed. Impeaching is not something that you could do to a sheriff. He could be removed. He sits on the purview, I think, of the governor and probably the mayor, but I would have to look that up. But if he's going to be removed, he needs to be removed at the ballot box. There has been no proof of life. There has been nothing for that. Anybody who's a criminal would go, no, you know what? When are you and Reese going to do a naked show together? That would raise the count. You're right. It absolutely would. And I've been telling her that forever. I cannot begin to tell you how much I've been trying to get her to do that. We do that on our other channel over on that other network. They'll be looking for it tonight over on the, those ones. Nice go. But we have a situation here that doesn't show anything that says that this is a kidnapping. And the people that snatched her did a good enough job that there are hundreds of FBI agents and hundreds of local police officers, including Border Patrol, that are looking for them and haven't found them. That shows some level of skill, whether you want to admit that or not. Do me a favor, smack that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell for notification. This is what I do, people. It's how I make a living. But this is one of those situations where you go, if they were that good at that, how did they blow the playbook on the how you get paid? And I'm not trying to be a dick, but if these are kidnappers, then they are no longer trying to get paid, which means the woman is no longer breathing. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to make anybody unhappy. But if it is a kidnapper, kidnappers only keep you breathing so that they can get paid. Once they realize they're not going to get paid, then they will absolutely get rid of that person. And there's no reason right now to believe it. Did you see the Nazi transgender Rhode Island who shot up a high school hockey game? Yeah, I did, Allie. I'm actually going to be doing a show on that. Will Nanos be held responsible for his negligence? And there's a hero that stopped that, by the way. God bless heroes. Will Nanos be held responsible for his negligence? Is there any way law enforcement could go house to house in a 2-minute radius to check for Miss Nancy? They have gone house to house in a 2-mile radius. Unfortunately, they can't go inside and say, we want to look around. But they're usually pretty good at it. And having been a guy that had the people come to the door when you don't want them there, it's very difficult to keep your heart rate from going through the roof if you're doing dirt and the cops knock on your door. Been there, done that. And it's very, very difficult to make that happen. My head is a little bit better, man. Hopefully I am not flu bound. I really hope I'm not. You know what's amazing is this is actually the official start of Carnival. And it's so quiet outside, I'm freaked out. Like, I don't understand Carnival, I guess. By way of full disclosure, I also have not walked out there to see it. 2 reasons. Number one, I've had a headache all day. And number two, I don't really like any of that. I used to when I was younger and I was a drug addict. These days, I kind of want to just stay home alone unless I can get that blonde woman down here. And I'm working on that again because she's never here often enough. It will be interesting to see if Nanos, he's certainly going to be worst case scenario. He's going to be held responsible at the ballot box. I think you've got a better chance of, dropping a deuce that looks like a diamond. Can you think of any others? Picking up pixie sticks with your butt cheeks, all that. Of this guy getting reelected. No, I have not been to other South American countries, and I don't know that I will. I thought very seriously when I came down here that I would check out all of the other ones, and then I literally felt like this was home. The second I got here, and my wife can tell you about it, there's just something unique about this part of Ecuador where you get here and you go, this just feels different, right? Here's the other thought that I am absolutely starting to give a little bit more credence to. This just could be a psycho, and I don't mean a psycho like the random person walking around. Why? No, you don't pay criminals certainly without proof of life. By the way, do you know that the ransom has been upped to $200,000, $200K? This is going to make you upset, and a lot of people are going to go nuts. Thank you, Addie V. I'm glad that you did that. You look great in green. Everybody looks better in green. This is an issue. We have all been saying, why wouldn't the Guthries just put up $1 million, right? You want to get this woman found? Make the amount of money for turning this person in something that is really going to be something interesting. Yes, I am aware of the book that she wrote. And in there, they talk about kidnapping. I think we can rule out the fact that she had anything to do with this. They played a game as a kid about kidnapping. And that's odd. But I played doctor a lot as a kid. And I'm not a freak and I didn't become a doctor. I think that could drive somebody that is already a bit psychotic to who absolutely hates them. And unfortunately, there are weirdos out there. And here's one of the craziest things about this, right? Truthfully, I have been hounded. Somebody sent me a video today, and don't do this. If you're new here, don't do this. Don't send me videos that other people make about me. But there's a video with my voice that literally repeats over and over again. I'm a rapist. I continue to rape women. I'm a rapist. It's my face. I'm talking. It's me. Okay? It's very easy to play these days with AI and with things like that. And they didn't even get a fake ransom demand. They didn't even get something from mom that looked like one. It's pretty easy to do that these days, right? But as a guy with this much fame, right? The people, the word fame, right? The word fan comes from fanatic. And I would imagine that Guthrie, drop that at one. I would imagine that Savannah Guthrie has a lot of freaks that have developed some kind of an affection for her, some kind of infatuation with her. This absolutely, yeah, parasocial relationships are dangerous as hell. Hello, Joanne Adams. Good to see you. We can't forget this is a world stage. Watch this while this is going on over here. I understand, Daniel. I really do. I mean, if you think that they snatched her up 14 days ago because they assumed that they were going to be getting ready to go to war, maybe in Iran, no one's going to stop looking at that. No one has stopped looking at Epstein. Yeah, Alicia, you know what? It is what it is at this point. I honestly don't give a. I really don't, man. I understand that this comes with the territory. In South America, I catch a lot less of it because I don't run into real people in person that want to do this. I hope you're still going to sue that lady who defamed you. It's really hard to do from this side of the world. I would love to. Here's the thing, though. She also doesn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. So I'll drop $25,000 to sue her and get a default judgment that I'll have to wait until she sells that trailer that she lives in to get paid. I got no desire to do that. I really don't. She is a disgusting and pathetic woman who's going to do this to other content creators for the rest of their life. These days, I go like this. I stay focused on you guys. If you want to believe things other people say about me, you know where the exit door is. I don't care. I'm just going to keep turning and burning and doing what I'm doing, and I'm having a pretty good time. I really am. Unfortunately, we live in a world that this reality, right, dumber than a sack of diapers. It's very unfair. I've met sacks of diapers far more intelligent. The perps had insight intel because those homes are invisible at night. Ding, 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 ding. Unless it's for nefarious reasons, no one takes an 84-year-old woman from her home. Just getting out of that neighborhood at night. And I'll tell you something. Again, I don't want to sound like the criminal, right? But I am. It's kind of how I was for a long time in my life. You can't imagine what it's like driving away from a crime scene unless you've done it, right? Try driving away from a bank you just robbed and trying to do the speed limit and not look like this as you're driving down the road so everybody's looking at you. To drive away from a kidnapping with a person in your car in that neighborhood must have been hell. If you don't know that neighborhood, you ain't getting out of it. You'll take the wrong left. You'll take the wrong right. They go straight up, straight down. They bang lefts and right. Hold on a second. Yes, I did see Megan. I didn't see Megyn Kelly's. That's not true. But I know the book, and I read all of the excerpts. I didn't read the entire book, no offense to Savannah, but I know all of the excerpts in there that talk about the kidnapping thing. While I find that to be a very unusual coincidence, A, or B, some psycho that loves her, that looks at her all day long and read that thought, I'll kidnap her mom. I mean, those sick, I almost said something my mom would be really upset at. Those sick individuals out there, hold on one second. I'm sorry to send you that video, but I would really like you to review it and maybe unscramble it for us. Yeah, unscrambling a video depends on how it's scrambled. I am not much for my computer skills are nil, people. They really aren't. I've got some people that help me though. Don't follow the obvious. It's what's behind the curtain. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. But everybody that has said that before has said, no, this is to get rid of the Epstein story. And then I did this, right? And then I did this. And I go, well, what do you know? The Epstein story has had 420 stories done, and I'm going to update this as we go. But Epstein's had 260. Not exactly what you'd call disappearing, especially with a story that the entire world is watching and is paying for way more expensive ads from toothpaste companies, long-distance phone deals, and Mercedes-Benz, right? They're not telling you the news because they want you to know the news. They're telling you the news because the more people that watch it, the more money they can spend for selling advertisements. Capiche? So they're not backing off of Epstein. They're not even pumping the brakes slightly. They're still telling tons and tons, and more came out today. And I promise you it's not going away. So now we got to look at other stuff so we can go, well, what else is going on? Well, we got that stuff that's going on over in other countries. You're going to kidnap an old woman and make her disappear so that we don't pay enough attention to a war in Iran? If that passes the smell test, with all due respect, send me an email. Tell me where you're buying your weed because I haven't smoked it in a long time, but I'd like to try some of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Someone needs to check out Roller Coaster Road or Desert Rocks Trail for 6. Yeah. The unbelievable. Yeah. This is really there are so many places like that too, Snooki. This is a dangerous place for someone to be hidden. By the way, the sniffer that everyone has asked about, there is some new stuff that has come out about the sniffer. They can put in, are you ready, Johnny Scobo? They can put in just her device into the sniffer. So,
everybody else's?
Yeah, this has been one of my issues with the sniffer. Yeah, this has been one of my issues with the sniffer. I said, this tests for Bluetooth? Holy hell, how many jackwagons with earbuds are screwing this thing up? Yeah. No, we are to the point now where what we have is this sniffer is just looking for her device. It's also accurate, allegedly, up to about 700 feet. The Epstein case will change the monarchy in the UK. It's not a stretch for the granny to go missing. Has it slowed down the coverage in Great Britain? Because the answer is it hasn't. Right? I got a lot of friends from over there. One of them keeps trying to get me to come on their channel to talk about that. And because of how much this is going on, I'm not doing that first. But this isn't slowing down what's happening over there. The people are resigning. The people are talking about it. The story isn't going away. But why pick a granny? Of all of the things that you could do, think about this. Somebody a little critical thinking of all the crap that you can do for a false flag. You're going to go, I know. We'll grab Savannah Guthrie's mom and kidnap her out of Tucson, Arizona, because this will get the whole world looking at. Are you kidding me? That's the best we could come up with for a false flag? Just do what Clinton did and go bomb someplace, right? After he got a Hummer in the Oval Office, just go bomb someplace. There are so many things you can do for a false flag. Put up some of those really cool drones and make the entire country start talking about aliens coming to abduct us again. Snatching a grandmother seems like a really odd choice for a false flag. Maybe I'm just an idiot, man. For real. Maybe I'm not that bright. I'm willing to concede that. But that doesn't make a crap bit of sense to me. Does anyone else have issues signing into YouTube? Well, yes, often I do, but I'm in South America. You know what I mean? I'm in South America. I don't understand why the family were cleared if no DNA, because they haven't been cleared, Michelle. They haven't been cleared. The FBI hasn't cleared them. And even the jackwagon himself, when they say, so they're no longer, well, everybody's still a suspect. It's like me saying, I'm not technically related to Johnny Scoville. He's not my brother. I mean, I'm not saying we're not brothers, right? I mean, listen to the verbiage that's going on. No one says that, as far as you know, says my wife. She says it all the time. YouTube was down earlier. I would not have known that. I was sound asleep. It was down worldwide, probably because of the 40 or 50,000 people in every single live feed watching the front door of that poor woman's home. Yeah, see that? Everyone said something did happen to YouTube. Hopefully it doesn't mess with my pay. You know what I mean? A very expensive wife to take care of. I got knocked out of YouTube, had to re-sign back in. No wonder my numbers are so down. There's 853 of you in here. Should be $5,000, don't you think? There's never $5,000. I'm just being a wise guy. Do me a favor, hit the bell for notification, hit subscribe, and whatever you do,
tell us where you're watching from.
Tell us where you're watching from. No, Epstein hasn't slowed down in the UK. It really is revving up from government to monarchy and espionage links. So apparently, as a worldwide false flag, this isn't getting a lot done. And inside the United States, yeah, a lot of people are talking about it, but there are still tons of people talking about Epstein. And I got news for you. We are the true crime aficionados, the ones that everybody keeps complaining about, the armchair quarterbacks, the, what do they call them? Internet sleuths, right? Us bad people. Even some of us are going to fall off the longer that this case goes on, right? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking at other subjects. It's kind of what happens. My job, as much as I want to cover stories until everybody gets to the end of them, my job is to keep you guys watching. And if my numbers go from 850 in the live chat to 500, I'm going to find something else you want to hear about. It's just the nature of the beast, right? And it already is falling off. Northwest Pennsylvania, good to have you here. Watching from Vancouver, Washington. Love it. Johnny Scoville's in Salinas, Ecuador.
It's a true story. Right.
Can you prove that? No, yeah. And Epstein's not going to slow down. I promise you it's not. Oh my God, Tommy, expensive wife, gorgeous woman who's worth all of the gold in the world. Oh, I didn't say she wasn't. In fact, just before we went live, I was offering her large amounts of money to help me out. She knows what I'm talking about. Do you think Harvey Levin knows something? I think Harvey Levin knows that it's better to be continually talked about than not. It's a message to everyone who may be called to testify in the Epstein case. All 1,100 of them are going to think, good God, they might snatch my mother. I'm not buying it, Rosie, and I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm really not. It just doesn't pass the smell test to me. Also, how does anyone know it's a message? Honest to God, I got 20,000 people that in the last 7 days, 180,000 people have watched this channel. And you're the second person that's come up with this theory, which would lead me to believe that the vast majority of people don't see this as a message. So if I'm getting ready to testify in Epstein, I don't go, holy hell, Savannah Guthrie's mom just disappeared. I'm going to go and check and see if she's on the list as someone that might have to testify. By the way, do you know who's in the Epstein files, Johnny Scoville?
I'm not.
Huh?
I'm not.
Janis Joplin.
Wow.
Janis Joplin is one of the names that appears in the Epstein files. You know who else is in there? Elvis. Elvis's name is in the Epstein files. Do either of you guys, anybody think those two people may have molested kids? The problem with AI is if you say, get me everyone whose name is in the Epstein file, it'll do it for you. And you'll come up with names like Janis Joplin. You'll come up with names of people that are dead or people that have never met Jeffrey Epstein. It's a very confusing operation. You see where Savannah wrote a book about kidnapping? It wasn't a book about kidnapping, but she wrote a book. And in the book, she said that as a child, she played a kidnapping game, right? And honestly, it kind of sounds like it was an older relative that were trying to get the kids to do something, right? Like I used to do things with my kids you wouldn't believe, right? To get Spanky to do things, I used to come up with some really stupid games. God forbid I get hemmed up, and he starts coming out and talking about it. Elvis liked him young. Yeah, but he married him in his own defense, right? Roulette Master, this is so weird. This is so weird, and it's getting weirder. But I want to tell you something. If you're going to come in here and shit on me because my theory gets shot down by Sheriff Nanos, man, there's a bunch of stations out there you can watch. I am not, listen carefully, man, right? I am not a journalist. I am an ex-criminal, and I talk about these things from the criminal side of things. And I'm telling you right now, this isn't a kidnapping. Kidnappings are very etched in stone. They're cut and dry. Watch any movie. First thing they do is they leave a letter, and the letter says, if you call the cops, your relative is dead. They don't wait days.
A murder disguises, just to disguise it as a kidnapping?
So, yeah, if you want to murder somebody and then disguise it as a kidnapping, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a criminal standpoint, because most criminals know that a murder is going to be investigated by the local police departments, right? The robbery homicide is going to come out and investigate it. They might put 10 or 12 people on it. Instead, you want to turn it into a kidnapping where the feds show up, the hostage people show up, the border patrol shows up. So instead of having 9 people looking for you, you now have the entire world looking for you. This seems to me that this isn't a great way to cover up a crime. Burn the friggin' house to the ground. That's how you cover up a murder, right? These are kind of etched in stone methods. Blow up the house. Unhook the gas in the kitchen, right? Leave a cigarette with a piece of paper on it, and then haul ass and wait for the house to explode. What you don't do is snatch the body and take it with you. Now you've just created a whole bunch of other ways that you can get caught. It doesn't make sense. Happy birthday, Barbara. And I believe happy birthday to Tommy Bird, who is now 106 and looks fantastic. Does he not?
It really does.
Doesn't look a day under 80.
Good living.
What is my theory? I'll be honest. My theory is that Netbeard is involved in this. He may have had other people doing it. I don't think he's one of the people. Stop leaving comments and say, he's way too big to be the guy at the front door. If I was going to snatch somebody I know, I certainly wouldn't be the person to do it, right? They're going to recognize my voice. They're going to recognize my build. They're going to recognize the way I walk. They're going to look and go, oh, my God, that's Tommy. I knew he was going to do something like this someday.
If it's not a kidnapping, what is it?
If it's not a kidnapping, it's one of two things. It is somebody that wanted to do a kidnapping, and she died. I'm not trying to be an ass, but she's 84 years old with a pacemaker. They had to walk her out of there. At the time, her heart doing this one, right? And now they're going to put a bag over her head and drive her out into the woods or wherever and stick her in a safe house. I don't think that she made it.
Dude, when they first broke in, they showed a giant increase. What if she went out and they mistaken her?
We would have known. Oh, what if they?
mistaken her?
Yeah, but if she went out, we would have seen that on the device. Johnny Scoville says, what if when they came in, she went out and they panicked and thought she was dead? If they thought she was dead, they don't take her with them.
Then why take her with them? If it's not
They took her with them because she was alive when she walked out the door. It might have been a kidnapping, and she died along the way. Now you can't show proof of life, right? By the way, and I'm not trying to sound like the world's master criminal, but I would have shown proof of life in her house. I'd have got her over and filmed her right there. We just snatched her. Then when you get wherever you're going, film 5 of those videos in case something happens to her. You don't do that with a kid, but somebody 84. However, I will stipulate that if I'm wrong, it's going to be a freak. If I'm wrong, this is going to be somebody that didn't kidnap her to rape her. Rapists usually don't take people away to rape them. They usually rape them right where they get them, right? And there's a reason for this. People go, well, you don't know. Here's the thing. Rape isn't about having sex. If you think it is, then you've never done any reading or any studying into this. They're not sexually aroused. You know that about 8 out of 10 rapists can't come to ejaculation? They can't finish the job doing it. Most of them are sexually inept. It's about control. It's about dominance. It's about fear. And it's about aggression. It has nothing to do with sex. And if you want to intimidate somebody and you want to see that fear in their eyes, doing it in their own home is going to be more of a payoff to the sick bastard than it would be taking them someplace else and doing it. You're violating their domicile in doing this, and sick bastards get off to that. I'm not DX with ADHD, but suspect. I'm glad that you give the same energy. My ADHD matches your energy. Oh boy. People yell about my energy all the time. Why would I want to go at this channel and hear somebody yell at me? Here's the hey, I only had a couple of legit jobs in my life, and one was public speaking. And I learned a long time ago that as a public speaker, if I walk out and I go like this, I sell 2% of the room. And if I went out and I talked like this, everybody paid attention. It's training. That's a great comment, Elaine. That is a great comment. Heart attack makes most sense of anything else, man. I second that. My ADHD feels, I should have changed the name of this bad boy. ADHD Tommy, right? What do you think? Angry Tommy? Everyone always says I'm angry. Am I angry?
You remember the radio station? Yeah, a little bit. Remember the radio station
asshole.
in Boston who said it had attention deficit Thursday?
Yep.
They played 10 seconds of all your favorite songs, and as soon as they change, you'd be pissed off, and 1 second later, you'd be happy.
Yeah. There was a radio station in Boston. Johnny was just talking about, and they had ADHD Wednesday, attention deficit Wednesday, they called it. And they would play 10 minutes of a song, and you'd go, oh, yeah, right, 10 seconds of a song. You'd be like, hey, it's Sweet Home Alabama. And you go, yeah. And then it would stop. And you'd be like, oh. And then it was a great song on the other one. And you realize about 40 seconds in that I really do have this. I really do have this. I have a problem. But here's the thing. We're going to do an awful lot less of this speculation if you throw us a bone, right? Give us something to go on. Something. Hey, this is what we're chasing down. They are officially taking 40 different photos. Did you catch that? 40 different photos and names of people to gun stores. And I know that people go, would anybody be dumb enough to go and buy a gun? Yeah, they would. You'd be really shocked at some of the really stupid things that people do, man. A great example of this, you're passionate, sensitive little bunny whisker. You better drop that whisker thing, woman. I swear to you, your $3,000 just went to 2. Yes, these interviews aren't helping, in my humble opinion. Here's the thing. And the argument is, well, we're not going to talk to the press. This isn't going to help. We're not going to do it press. So instead, you just go talk to what's Fredo Cuomo's real name? You know what I'm talking about? He's not the famous Cuomo. He's the other Cuomo. And by the way, just in case you're looking, because he does this. I saw him in public twice go, call me Fredo to my face. Come on down here, Fredo. I'll kick the hell out of you. I don't like anybody in your family. But Cuomo, the guy from News Nation, he's always screaming about this stuff. The guy's an idiot. Adorable whisker. See, here we go. Chris Cuomo. There you go. Chris Cuomo has a real serious problem with me and people like me, right? And here's the thing. Chris Cuomo's funny as hell. He's been one of the absolute worst journalists in history. At least I'm not a journalist. I don't pretend I'm one. I'm here to give opinion. My opinion currently is there's only 2 possibilities for this, and one is family. And the other possibility is this is a lunatic. And they did this to hurt the family. Why do you take the body? Because this is the only thing that makes sense to me. And I will give credit where credit is due, even if it makes me want to spit on the floor. But Johnny Scoville actually came up with this theory, and it does bum me out a little. But he said, because we were sitting on the couch, we do this back and forth, right? Usually right before we go live. And I go, there's not one good reason to take. And I said, maybe there was bruises all over the body. They had already been abusing her. And he goes, yeah, I don't know, man. Other people would have seen her. She was always seeing people. I go, come up with another one. And he said, what if the only reason to take this person is to torture the family? You're going to torture them a lot more if they don't know. And I hate to say it, but Johnny Scoville might be right. I thought it was weird they cleared the family and still have 0 suspects. I feel like the entire case is being botched. Buffy, I'll tell you what, if you're new to true crime, stick around because you seem to have the hang of it. This is botched. And the people that are going to go, that's not fair. He released the crime scene back to the family at hour 30. The FBI had not gone through the crime scene yet. Wrap your dome around that.
Doesn't Fred show up to console?
Yeah. I mean, think about this. By the way, neckbeard, if you're watching, your name sticks even after this is over, even if you're cleared, your neckbeard. But if you're watching this, come out tomorrow. Take 6 minutes standing in front of the press to go, I understand why you're looking at family, but I will do anything you want to clear my name. I love my mother-in-law more than I love life. I didn't do it. Stare right in the camera. It goes a long way. Or you could just keep running and hiding. Hasn't worked so far. I feel like nothing new is going to happen for a while. Am I wrong? Or it's just going to be a bam. I promise you it's just going to be a bam. And one of the reasons is the COVID thing. Oh, yeah. Fredo really blew the Cuomo thing. The whole outside won't be usable in court. You're right, Mop Man. Mop Man nailed that. Anything you find outside, you can write it off because there's a million YouTubers standing outside, right? Yes, neckbeard. The people are asking. No, this will be an explosion. It's not going to be a thing where we go, ooh, they're building up for it. Somebody left a comment earlier that said the daughter of BTK gave a DNA sample, and that's how they found BTK. That's not 100% true. The way they found BTK is that arrogant bastard wanted to communicate with the press. He named himself, by the way, if you don't know that. He said that you should call me BTK, as in bind, torture, kill. Classy.
Is he the only serial killer that named himself?
To the best of my knowledge, he's the only one. Now, the Zodiac Killer kind of did, but the symbol that he used was off of a Zodiac watch, by the way. Do you know that? And the guy that they think might have done it had been given a Zodiac watch 3 days before. Yeah, it's a great story on that. I'll do that sometime. But anyway, BTK wanted to communicate with the press, and he wanted to send stuff over to them, but he didn't want to get caught. So he decided to do it on floppy disks. Or hard disks, computer disks. Problem is the genius had erased the stuff on there, thinking that erasing it would get it done. You see, you say, no one's going to screw up enough to go to a gun store. This dude who had been getting away with this for a long time sent over a device, and they looked at the latent images, the ones that he had recorded over the top of. And in there was information just about a church. And it was a church that he happened to be a deacon at. So when they went to that church, figured out who all the people were, then they went and got the daughter to get a DNA. So it was a little bit more than that. But the whole time they're going, we got no idea what's going on, right? No idea. We don't know what's going on. No DNA, no nothing, no leads. If you keep the cards close to your chest, that's better. But you give BS out. You follow me? Come out every day and give us nothing. Come out every day and give us fluff. But when there is a vacuum, true crime abhors a vacuum. Isn't that a quote from something? Did I make that up? Or is it science abhors a vacuum? Nature abhors a vacuum? Somebody in here smart. What abhors a vacuum? Sheriff cleared the family, but FBI says nothing about them being cleared. That is correct. Neither did the sheriff. If you can get him in an interview, instead of him writing it down, he's still not going to clear it. Fredo Cuomo. That's why I brought him up. He said to the guy, hey, so the family's been cleared by DNA, correct? And his answer would have been really easy to say, no, not DNA, but there's a lot of other stuff that you're not aware of. Didn't say that. Or yes, DNA helped clear them. Those would have been two good answers. You know what his answer was, Johnny Scoville? Oh, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. That family is completely innocent. Boy, you got church bell-sized huevos to say that they are innocent before anybody has been nailed for the crime. Bad. Nature abhors a vacuum. See, honeybee. I knew people would get it. Thank you, Lisa Palmer. Look at all you smart people. C student here. I can't back that up. I got C's a couple of times. I didn't do very well in high school. I did manage to get a degree, though. But that was years later. I had sobered up by that point. Years later. Where's Reese? She's going to get that. Reese, years later. Nobody is completely innocent. Texas Red, you can rule me out. I was in South America. School is not set up for people like us. Boy, there's some truth to that, says Honeybee. But Honeybee also knew what abhorred a vacuum, so don't you lie to me. YouTube getting desperate for revenue now. I keep getting pop-up ads while in the chat. Oh, no, really? And here's the good thing. I may get paid on that. I might not. Nature abhors a vacuum, and I abhor a troll. Doctor will say, I knew you'd get it. My wife is so perfect. I'm sorry, she really is. Now, perfect for everybody? Probably not, but absolutely perfect for me. And you know what? She has to know that I am the only sick and twisted person on planet Earth, perfectly designed for her. I graduated high school 20 years ago. My goodness, I'm old. Buffy, if that is your definition of old, I'm going to have to ask you to leave because you have hurt my feeling. 20 years ago.
She's young.
That was still in this century.
She's a kid.
Jeez, man, I got bullet wounds older than you. Did anyone research her background? Who she worked for, connections there? Are you talking about the mother? The mother only had, by all accounts, after her husband died, she has been, for all intents and purposes, she was just a mom. She focused very much on family. She had friends. None of them ever seemed to rise to the level of a romantic tie. I think there's something beautiful about that. I'm sorry, I really do. I think there's something beautiful about people that made for life, right? I think there's something just amazing about that. But there doesn't, and they're doing this. They're chasing down everything, but there doesn't seem to be anything that ties Nancy to this. And it's one of the reasons that I think, hey, Rip Curl, good to see you, bud. If this does not come back to be neckbeard, then this is going to be a psycho. And the psycho is going to be a psycho because of Savannah Guthrie. There are people that see somebody on a screen and think, I love this person. And what's even scarier is there are people that see someone on the screen and go, that person loves me. Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby, just to let you know the song Buttercup? Go listen to the words of that really closely. It's about a stalker. It's terrifying. And look, I'm not joking, man. I've had stalkers. I've got one right now. I have one right now. I don't answer any of her emails, but I have a stalker right now. And I am this big. Savannah Guthrie is so famous you can't put it on the screen, right? She has lunatics, I promise you, right? All of those women, especially the ones that are attractive, have a ton of stalkers, and it's a terrifying thing. But if you were the person that took her, what would you do if you saw the news that they were trying to find her and a pacemaker with a helicopter? Depends on where I was, I guess. If I was in the local area, I mean, this is a hard thing for me to wrap my brain around, and I don't want anybody to be pissed at me, right? But if she was still breathing, I would have shown proof of life. If she's not breathing, I had already buried her. I'm not trying to be an ass, but that's really the truth, right? Is that I would have already buried her because they couldn't show proof of life. To me, that means that she's dead or this was never a kidnapping. Tommy, it was stated that Nancy would go to a friend's house and from there they would watch church services on TV. It was not, that's exactly the fact. That's exactly the fact. And I'll tell you what, Royce, thank you again for your service. Would that not have been really good information to know week one? People, I get people all the time that reach out and go, why is it that the whole world thinks the family was involved? I don't know. Maybe because Sheriff Jackwagon came out in the beginning and said when the family showed up at the house and she wasn't there, they took an hour and 7 minutes to call 911. They didn't, but that certainly got a lot of true crime people going down a road, right? Then they said somebody from the church reached out when she didn't show up for church. Well, that's not what happened, right? Now you got people, my mother was talking to me about this. My mother's about the same age as Nancy Guthrie. And if you get any fun ideas, head over there, man. My mom's tougher than I am. She will kill you and six dudes that, she will kill you and six dudes that look just like you. And she's got some bodyguards that live with her. We took care of that, right? Corn-fed Italian boys ready for you. But truthfully, this is one of those situations that unfortunately the misinformation in the beginning was brutal, right? Brutal. My mom said that there are people in parking lots at her church saying, were any of you the people that reported her? Who here at the church? And they're going, what the hell you're talking about, man? That was her church pre-COVID. Since COVID, she has been attending her daughter's church via Skype. And she goes over to a friend's house and the two of them watch it on computer and they pray and they do whatever. And that's the person that called the family. Who could do this to a sweet old lady? I'm going to go with sick individual. I'm going to go with a sick individual, right? And sick individuals are usually Paw Patrol sheriff. Nice played. Well, I like that, Paw Patrol. These are people that are either going to be motivated by cash, right, or they're motivated by bad wiring. The Drew Petersons of the world, the people that do this because they like to hurt people, and it may not be that they want to hurt somebody, right? They may want to hurt specifically Savannah Guthrie, and killing her mom and leaving her in the house would hurt her. Leaving her to wonder for years whether her mother was there or not would hurt her more. And it is a possibility, man. Neckbeard is my favorite suspect. Me too. And until I can come up with a really good reason why he's not, I'm going to be running with that. It's that simple. By the way, there's 1,200 of you in the chat, which has got to be pissing off YouTube. So do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button, hit the bell for notification, and make sure you hit subscribe. And people always say, why do you say that that's going to bother YouTube? Because I say rape, I say suicide, I say sexual assault, I say false flag, I say COVID-19, and I will have the audacity to say that a young girl is 13, 14, or 15. Do you know that if you even just use those numbers, they don't push your video because they think you're a freak? Because it's a lot easier, I guess, than writing a better program. Why would they take the body? Well, if they're doing it to hurt the family, a murder hurts you, and you immediately start going through the 5 stages of grief. If she's gone, you're wondering if she's being tortured or raped. There's that not knowing is 800 times worse. It's 800 times worse. I rode ambulance for a brief period of time in my life. And if we got out to a person's house, and Monday mornings used to be a lot of heart attacks. It was like Monday mornings, just everybody had a heart attack. And I remember going out, and my partner, who was a black dude, one of the coolest dudes you ever meet in your life, who's a paramedic, been a paramedic for 20 years. He said to me, if this person is cold when you get in there, you're still going to do CPR on them. And I went, huh? Because if they're cold, I sure as hell can't bring them back to life. And he said, the reason you do that is to give the wife time for them to realize that they might die. And then they get that whole ride to the hospital. And on the ride there, they're going, oh my God, he might be gone. Oh my God, he might be gone. Oh my God, he might be gone. But it is that process of going from this could happen to this just happened. You don't want to slam someone in the face with it. And I said, okay. And I did exactly that. Every time we came across somebody that was dying, or that was already dead, rather, we would allow them to think that there was a possibility they could be alive. That's a beautiful thing for a 30-minute period of time. But if somebody is missing, knowing that they're gone, you can go, oh God, and then you do that, the 5 stages. First, it's denial, and you go through all of those 5 stages of grief. They can't do any of that grief. What they do instead is they go, oh my God, what could I have done? If I had hired more people and I had put them there, maybe that would have done it. If I had not had mom living alone, if this is somebody torturing her. Or the other option is that I think this was supposed to be somebody that was grabbing her. Why do this on Sunday, not a weekday? Well, they did it on a Saturday night going into Sunday morning. That's odd. I mean, it is. That's odd. However, if it's planned, follow me? If this was planned and you wanted someone to find her, you knew that when she didn't show up for church, this is the neckbeard thing again. If you knew that when she didn't show up at her friend's house for church, someone was going to call. If you're planning this, you don't want her to be missing for days, right? In theory, you want that to happen really quickly. Could it be somebody that owed money to her? It could be, Claudia. And I mean, that's honestly a fairly logical place to go. It really is. And I'm not being a wise ass because I do think this is a really an intelligent comment. But we can probably rule out her being a loan shark, right? So who would she have loaned any money to? Probably family, right? And there's already been a lot of talk about the fact that Neckbeard and Annie had borrowed some cash, and there's been some animosity about that. So that is a distinct possibility. But all of the possibilities that make sense, like Claudia's, right? Come back to Neckbeard. Is it me? I'm sorry, but snow full moon on February 1st. Oh, boy. I tell you what, I also don't want to do dirt at night on a full moon. I know that people go, that helps illuminate stuff. As a criminal, you don't want stuff to be illuminated. You'd rather it be jet black. Yeah, you look like, especially with those things you got on your freaking, what a jackwagon. Question about the Bluetooth thing. If she's dead, wouldn't the pacemaker not be able to detect because of that? Not to seem dumb? That's not dumb at all. Not dumb at all, Stephanie. But it absolutely would be able to. The pacemaker does not need your heart to continue to work. Think about this. It is a little battery-operated device. It's not going to stop doing what it does until the battery dies. The fact that the heart is no longer there to snap into play isn't going to affect it. Don't judge me, woman. Don't you judge me. You're better than that. It's going to keep trying to shock the heart into rhythm. It's going to keep trying to put signals out, and it is going to continue to be able to look for the phone. Even if she's dead, it would like to tell the phone that. It's going to keep seeking out that signal until and when it is turned off. Spakes Magaluna said, I go with Psycho. Nancy was very visible within her community, and Savannah gave her plenty of on-air attention publicly and worldwide. Sadly, are you better than that? I hope so. Pumpkin, I'm all in. Right? We got married. I hope you're better than that. She was worldwide. She did a show in Tucson where she talked about coming home to Tucson, why her mom was there. and I'm not second guessing this, so don't leave me a crappy comment that I'm not going to read. This is something that all of us would do, right? I'd love to have my mom on, right? Well, I don't, but I would. If I was in her job, I probably would have highlighted my mother. You think that we live in a world where you can do stuff like this? You think we live in a world where there aren't sick puppies out there wondering, boy, it would be nice just to kill her? Tommaso is guilty. Ashley Benfield source is right. His bandmate and Annie and who knows accessories. Yeah, look, until I got a reason not to believe him, I use this, and a couple of people, how do you turn off a pacemaker? My understanding is you do it with magnets. I don't understand what that means, but that's what, when I read it, it said that it's done with large magnets. It's not an on-off switch. Something you do with really large magnets. It's one of the reasons that when my father was struggling, he had to go in and they were talking about giving him an MRI, and you cannot put somebody with a pacemaker in an MRI because an MRI is a magnetic resonance imagery. See what I did there? Didn't think I knew that, did you? Those magnets can actually turn off that. 1,300 people in here. Do me a favor. Smack the subscribe button, hit the bell for notification. Make sure you hit subscribe. And you know what? I'm like 80 people away from forcing my wife to do some really ugly stuff, you know. Get over there and hit subscribe to Relatable Reese and my brother, the Johnny Scoville at Chase Heat. If you've never seen him on, we do a show at midnight. It gets a little wild. Magnets disable the battery. That is correct. Occam's Razor says, Addy V. Yeah, get rid of all of the stuff that seems ridiculous. I don't think aliens did this, and I'm using that as a really out there stupidity. Now start going back down, because you know what else is in that? That political figures have done this to hide something. Come on, people. Give me a break. And if you're just getting here and you think this is just a cover-up for Epstein, well, let's look at this real quick. Why? Because I did the damn homework. That's why. Epstein, 260 stories done on him to 420 on Nancy Guthrie. And the reason I put this up is because people say to me, no, they haven't done one story on Epstein since this started. Oh, I beg to differ. And as our friends on the other side of the pond just let us know, in Europe, it's still cooking. There are people getting fired. There are people resigning. And the royals are up in arms. And all of the people are up in arms at the royals. There's a lot going on. Rip Curl Readiness, thank you so much, man. What a kind thing to say. He says, Tommy, just to keep this respectful, I think you're fun to watch and easy on the eyes, too. No homo. Good evening, Reese. You know what, Rip? You're a pisser. If you've never seen Rip, I did some great interviews with him. Rip is one of the good ones, man. One of the no-joke good ones. Speaking of the Gem Show, did anyone see the footage of the neighbor packing up the boxes and getting out of Dodge? Good Lord, no. But if you ever saw me right around the time of any of those shows, if you've never been to the Gem Show in Tucson, or if you've never even heard about it, it is the God, what, man? How do you even say it? It is the Super Bowl of Gem shows from around the world. It is like nothing that you, yeah, and it goes on and on and on and on. Allie Girl says, hi, beautiful Reese. I feel the same way. I'm not going to lie to you. And if you're wondering what the beautiful Reese looks like, that would be that girl right there. There. That was on our wedding night. Surprised you didn't know that. Claudia, I would love to put that up on the screen. However, unfortunately, at the moment, YouTube is not putting anything up. See, I'm cheating here because on the actual screen, nothing is moving. Maybe they move her in a golf cart. Here's the thing. You're not going to get a golf cart behind her house. Not going to happen. You're not going through any of those washes on anything that doesn't have about 2.5 feet of travel. You know what I mean by that? I mean that if you have a tire on it, you're going to have shocks that are this high, right? 2.5 feet. Because behind those houses, you would not believe what the land is like. And that sand ain't sand. It's bulletproof. It may be sand, but it's like a caliche mud. It's very, very difficult to smack stuff. I mean, to dig into or anything else. Lucky Chucky says, do you think there will be more letters? I think there'll be more letters to TMZ. I think Harvey's probably crafting them tonight. What do you think, Harv? You're a bad man, Harvey Levin. I think Harvey's writing those letters to himself. I think that's an opinion. You hear that? Opinion, Harvey. Come sue me. I'm in South America. I have to say I understand the need to check the gun shops, but no one I know would have gotten a legal gun to do this. You know what? Probably not. Probably not. However, you guys know what straw purchases are? Because I know a bunch of guys that went to prison for this. A straw purchase, and this is technically how they almost always go down, is I walk into a gun store and I say, I was going to say something bad. Let's just say I at least have one felony. I would go into a gun store and I'd go, hey, can I get a look at that gun right there? They're not asking for ID. They're not asking for anything like that until I try to buy it. So they put it up on the counter and you go, you mind if I get a picture of this? I want to show it for my wife. No, knock yourself out. So you take a picture of it. I also want to see that one over there. They bring it over. I take a picture of it. Now I leave and I email it to a person who just does straw purchases. What this person does is they don't have a felony. So they'll go in there and buy a $700 gun for me. They're going to want $200 for doing it. But they put down all of the stuff for the Brady Act and they fill out all the paperwork. It very easily could come down to them figuring out who bought these guns and then tracing it back. But I think you're probably right. However,
I think it's fake.
Johnny Scoble doesn't believe it's a real gun, and a lot of other people don't. My initial gut intuition says she's out there, no more than a couple of miles or so from the house, and I didn't even know the terrain then. Now it makes more sense. I don't think she's outside of Tucson either. Elaine McKenzie just turned 5 people green, and I really wish I could highlight all of this because it's so nice when I can put it up on the screen, but YouTube is not really playing well with others.
Very cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. I appreciate that. And if you just turned green, you should be thanking Elaine McKenzie. I love it when that happens. Harvey has too much to lose to be writing them himself, but he knows they are BS letters from random and pimping it out. Well, here's the thing. He doesn't have much to lose, right? And here's what I mean by that. He would have had a lot to lose to write the first one. But then he calls in the FBI legitimately. He gets this thing about a reward. And he calls in the FBI and he's doing this one, right? Because he's thinking TMZ just helped solve this. And the FBI comes in and says, they're not really using email. They're going to your site and they're going to a complaint or a, tell us what you think thing. And you have to put your birthday in and all this. It's not technically an email. So they look at Harvey and they go, there's no way to trace this. And Harvey goes, there's literally no way you can trace this. There's no way we can trace this. I think Harvey's the kind of guy that might have gone, no way to trace this.
Don't look at it from what he has to lose. Look at what he has to gain.
Yeah, what does he have to gain from it? Right? Because Harvey is certainly,
last 2 weeks.
Harvey's killing it. Say what you will, Harvey's killing it. He's doing a little better, and I just need a little. He's doing a little better than the lifeboat. They should have checked the dump sites right away. I would imagine they have, Kevin. That is one of the things that they do right from Jump Street. Harvey is looking worse and worse, says Lisa Palmer. He is, man. And I'm telling you something. It's not like Harvey had a long way to go. Did you see the thumbnail I did him the other night, Johnny Scoble? I put horns on him. I wanted to turn him red and scaly with a hay fork and a bifurcated tail. But the best I could do for the devil thing was just put horns on him.
You should have given him a hay fork.
I should have given him one. YouTube is slowly coming back up. There's a delay with servers depending on where you are. Well, I hate to see that, but it happens. When was the
1,200 people.
and there's nothing wrong with that. Sorry, people. So listen, if you're just getting here, do me a favor, smack that like button, hit the bell for notification. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you don't, then you won't know, right? You won't know when I'm going live and you won't get to come here and hang out with the smartest group of people in all of true crime. I mean, yes, I'm pandering slightly, but this really is a very intelligent true crime audience, right? There's a lot of people here that spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff, and it does help a lot. When was the bins emptied after she was taken? Those bins were all over the roadside. He could have put her in and placed a bag on top of her, and the bin trucks took her. I could almost tell you. You remember? When did they do the I want to say Wednesdays, but I could be wrong. It's been a minute. Is Savannah still in Tucson? My understanding is that she has moved. It is the Black Crows. It's a bad habit. I don't know how I got on that. But it's the only thing I ever hum. Do you think they are checking scrap yards for cars? No, and they should be, but I doubt that they're doing that. I doubt they're doing that. And here's the thing. One of the reasons that these guys have always been so fond of that is how do you check it? If you've ever seen how the mob gets rid of a body, you put somebody in the car crusher. That car crusher is going to be literally taken down to about a 3x3, about the size of a laundry basket. And then how do you look inside there to see if there's a person in it? Once, I'm not trying to be graphic, but there's no way around it. Once the blood stops leaping out of that thing, right, you hose it down, you're not going to see anything else come out of it. That's bad, but it's true. Maybe they move it. Yeah, that one I think I got up. How about that one? There we go. Look at that. We're back online. I don't know how long it'll last, but we are back online. Who was it? Elaine, you say? I'm not seeing Elaine. With no body, it would take a person or son-in-law 7 years to be declared dead. There we go. I don't know how long. I have been told 3 years in Arizona for the purpose of estates, but I have not chased that down. What do you say? Brock Bandy, look at this. Not just a mod, a beast. Brock Bandy just turned 5 more people green. I love it when that happens. You know what? If you don't understand this next statement, then I apologize for confusing you. But if I had to go through the door with somebody other than my brother, there's only about 3 people on earth I would pick, and Brock Bandy be one of them. What are the lights in the back? If the guy on the porch, oh, what's the lights? You mean, oh, great. This is a decent question. This is a good question. I'm actually really glad that you asked this question. As long as I'm not answering a question you didn't ask, I kind of like this question. Let's get to, let me see here. How about this one? Okay, so you see those lights off in the distance? People have asked about this in chats, but no one's ever asked about it live. What are those lights? You're looking at lights that are on houses. Those are not from cars. And they may look like they're 20 feet away. They're probably a mile away. In the Catalina foothills, right? It's a very confusing neighborhood. It's not like the neighborhood you live in, unless you live in Tucson, Arizona. And there are parts of Malibu, California that are a little bit like this. There are other places around the country, but none of them are as extreme as the Catalina foothills in Tucson. If you could have seen it before man got there to start building, the land goes like this, right? The land goes up and down. And normally you show up with bulldozers and you bulldoze the hell out of everything, right? They didn't do that. So there are houses built on top of bluffs. There are houses built down in those swales. Then the next one's up on a bluff. My home in Tucson was up on a bluff. So my neighbors, I might see the top of their roof, but even how they did that, they tried to engineer it so that even though your neighbor was 100 yards away, you weren't going to see him. It's beautifully laid out for privacy. You also can't see the people driving on the road going by. But what you will see is lights from other bluff houses that are way off in the distance. It's designed in such a way so that so that animals don't get screwed from being able to go where they go, right? They weren't going to allow it to mess with animals and their migration, and they didn't want it to mess with light pollution. And I know that people go, no, that sucks. They should have lights out there to protect people. The people that live there, if you put lights out there, they'd move somewhere else. One of the reasons that you buy a house there is because it's just completely different. And it's beautiful. It really is. It's beautiful in a way that you'd have to see it. I love the Catalina foothills, man. I really do. I miss them. If they were here, I'd live in them, but I just don't miss America. Reese, you are wise and beautiful. Many people are educated beyond their intelligence. You are intelligent beyond your education level. You know what, Neptune? That's a beautiful freaking comment. And let me tell you something. This is no shit. For every 4,000 Neptunes in this planet, there's about 6 assholes. Unfortunately, we tend to give them attention, and that's a bummer. There is an observatory out there. It's also one of the reasons they didn't want light pollution, but this goes back all the way to 1972. Tommy and Johnny, I always leave my DNA so I don't go missing. That's just good thinking right there. That is good thinking. Reese says, so incredibly kind, and it's true. The astronomy club from the college requested no light zone, going back to 1972. Hey, Tommy from San Francisco, Mickey D. All right, good to have you here, Mickey. And clueless Lauren Green on the Sheriff Haas, Little Joe, etc. Good reference. All the youngsters won't get it, but then again, we don't have any youngsters here. So somebody left me a comment the other day and said, hey, stop saying that, I'm 22. I said, so you're the one. I have nothing more to say about this case. Well, that's a good one. I have nothing more to say about this case. I hope they find her and all those who are responsible for her kidnapping. If she's gone, I believe she is with the Lord right now. You know what? That's my prayer, and I pray that she went there quickly, because I'll be really honest with you folks. This is a really, really hard thing, and this has a lot to do with what I was saying about torturing somebody, right? All I want is for her to be at peace, and to know that she is gone would be a better thing, in my opinion, than to think that she's out being tortured. I'm a liberal now. Are you shitting me? Now I'm a liberal. Man, you should have been here yesterday, man, because the people yesterday were calling me a MAGA. At least it's nice to know, Charlie, that I'm pissing off people on both sides of the aisle. But you know what I love about ideologues like you, my man? Huh? Your sixth grade intelligence level. Glad to have you here, douche nozzle. Oh, really? I was hoping for at least one more shot at him.
Everyone took a shot at him.
I think we all agree with that. Yeah, I'm not too bright. I think he hurt her in a cage, or I think he hurt her in a rage or plan took away to extend the investigation. Bad plan. Brought the FBI and the federal charges. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you thought, someone said, what if she scratched you and her DNA were under her fingernails? In 40 minutes, I think I probably would have tried to scrape out all my DNA under her fingernails, and I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but it would have been a lot easier just to take the hands. I'm sorry, but you got a body now that you got to transport and try to get rid of. That really is a tough one. I like asshat as a descriptor too. Yeah, I'm fond of asshat. It gets some traction. Most people seem to like it. Here's the thing. I have no patience for ideologues. I really don't. Now, before I end this, don't leave because this one's important. Because before I end this, I'm going to tell you what's pissing me off more about this case right now than anything else. And people say, you never blame the victims. I don't want to do that in the Rob Reiner case, right? I don't want to do that in any of the cases. And I don't want to blame the family. They're going through hell. But somebody put up $100,000 today. Not the FBI. A private citizen put up $100,000 so that now the reward is $200K. I have been saying maybe the FBI won't allow the family to put up money. Maybe they won't take money from private citizens. Now that we know that $100,000 is put up by a private citizen, what in the name of God is the family not putting up $1 million for? I'm sorry, man. If it was my mom, and I'm no millionaire, people, I am living off of the kindness of others. But if it was my mom, I'd find that million. I'm shocked that we haven't upped this, man. I'm shocked that we haven't upped this. And $200,000 is great. And for the person that put up that $100K, God bless you. That's good stuff. The Guthries need to put up $1 million. This would be over. Rats, people that know them, that guy who wrote the Harvey Levin, if he's real, what do you think he's going to do if they put up $1 million? You think he's going to go, now I want it in Bitcoin? No, he's going to call quick as hell, right? Quick as hell. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your experience and your opinion. I have learned so much about true crime in the past 3 weeks. It has been fun. Well, then don't leave, because I swear to God, I'm not ending whether the case does or not. All right, people, do me a favor. Before you leave tonight, stop by and see the Johnny Scoville. He's over at Chase the Heat. He'll scare you. Man's got issues. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe here before you leave. But the last thing you should do is go over there and do it at my wife's channel. We're so close to me getting what I want. Got to get it 18,000. Between now and the next time I see you, which may be at midnight, folks, that's usually when we go live. And now I do feel like I got a bit of an energy. So between now and then, put a little love in your heart. And for the love of God, pray for this family. Please pray for the Guthrie family. And if you don't believe that she's going to be brought home alone, then pray for the family and their peace throughout this. All right? I'm Tommy. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. Love you, Reese.